Hello, everybody. I'm Beth Pugh.
And I'm Michael Brooks.
Happy Wednesday morning to you. And this is what's coming up in our show. So we'll take a look at that. Also, a Beanie Baby scam. 2 people in Cincinnati have been arrested, and some people in Kentucky were affected by this.
Wow.
But not Lee Cruse.
Not Lee Cruse.
He's dealing with art this morning. How's it going, Lee?
It's going fine, guys. We're going to tell you about an interesting concept that some artisans have developed. It's called a Dozens Cafe. It's different artists, different venues, and different mediums, and they'll be performing at different places, and we'll give you all the details coming up here in a minute on Kentucky Sunrise.
Wow, that was kind of nice.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. I'm interested in finding out what that man is playing.
I've never seen that before.
I haven't either.
Wow.
Actor Woody Harrelson was back in court in Frankfort trying to convince Kentucky appeals judges that there's a difference between hemp and marijuana. Harrelson says he planted hemp on a Lee County farm in June of 1996, not marijuana. A district judge and the circuit judge agreed with Harrelson, but Lee County prosecutors are asking the Kentucky Court of Appeals to say there's no difference between hemp and marijuana in the law.
And our very own Lee Cruse is taking on the role as an art critic this morning. Now Lee, what's going on out there?
That's a scary proposition for folks if you think about I'm deciding what's good, what's bad. But these guys, the band's name is Psychedelic Falk. The instrument that you saw earlier is a hammered dulcimer, and the other guy with the funky hat, he's playing a sitar, which is, of course, I think it comes from India. I'm not sure. We'll talk to these guys, find out more, and we'll tell you about a Dozens Cafe, which happens tonight. We're at Everybody's off Euclid Avenue, one of the venues. You'll find out more information on that coming up here on Kentucky Sunrise.
Anyway, let's talk about Lee. A Dozen Cafes is the name of an event taking place here in Lexington to showcase local artisans.
Different cafes, different venues, and different artists. Now that's a lot of information, especially for somebody like Lee Cruse. Hopefully he'll be able to sort it all out for us. Lee, what's going on out there? It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does. You know, Michael, I was just thinking, when she does turn 16, you're going to have guys like me knocking on the door.
And that is scary.
Woo. Your daughter home? I got my van outside. Here to pick her up. That's what you'll be dealing with. Good luck, buddy.
All righty.
Yeah. Hey, you know, we're at Everybody's restaurant, which, by the way, we want to tell you this. Collier, our camera guy, told us that this is where he met his wife when it was, Dixie Donuts?
Dixie Cream Donuts.
Dixie Cream Donuts. And it was her birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, Sharon. Now, here's the deal. It's called Dozens Cafe, and this guy right here, Dan Carter, put it together, right?
Yeah, actually, it's a dozen cafes for the loving arts.
For the loving arts, okay.
Yeah.
And what are you guys looking at? You got a problem? Huh?
We're the Kentucky International Artists Coalition.
Okay, now you got artists of different mediums though, not
Right.
just paintings. You got musicians as well.
Yes, we have poetry, got some poets. We have some belly dancing going on. We have classical piano. A young man named Aaron Orrin is going to play classical piano.
Now, tell me a little bit about this guy, because this is an amazing story. He's 14 years old, right? From Versailles. And tell the folks what he does. Classical piano.
He writes his own classical music, performs. He's going to be performing at Cosmos at 6 o'clock tonight.
I couldn't even do a paper route at 14.
He's a prodigy.
Yeah. Now, you do some work as well. Let's go take a look at what you got over here. And then this is something you put together. Now, I don't know what we're looking at, Dan, but it's very nice. I know it's a complex combination of colors. It looks like a sunflower.
Yeah, it's kind of like a daisy sunflower mixed. It's called Crazy Daisy.
Crazy Daisy, all right. Now, this is what your piece will be displayed as well.
At Cosmos, and I have other pieces at Geeks.
What are the venues besides Cosmos and Everybody's?
We have Hemp Universe, we have Common Grounds, Zing, Kismet, McCarthy's, Melodian, Geeks, Rosebud, Vertigo, and Strands.
Okay, so all these places will be showcasing different artists and doing different things. So it happens tonight, and if it's a success, you guys will continue maybe next spring, right?
Yes, yeah, another one in the spring is planned.
All right, well, good luck to you. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the event, talk about the band, and also about Everybody's, which is strictly vegetarian there, Beth and Michael.
Well, Lee, I really love those watercolors or those floral pictures behind you. Those are really pretty.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Are they going to be for sale?
You know, I think, yeah, there's a couple because I saw price tags. We'll find out which ones.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Lee.
You're welcome.
I bet they're pricey, yeah. Great music, though.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Nice to hear that in the morning.
Yes, it is. Hopefully we'll hear the pitter-patter of a couple of raindrops on the
I was going to say little feet.
No. Not quite yet. Let's take a look and see what's going on right now across central Kentucky. Well, our very own Lee Cruse is getting artsy this morning. Now, Lee, have you broken anything out the...
No, but I'm getting my groove on with the psychedelic folk. That's who we're listening to. And we're going to tell you about a coalition of artists that have gone about a bunch of different venues, and we'll give you those a little bit later on. And it's called A Dozen's Cafe, because there's about a dozen cafes altogether. And that takes place tonight. Artists showcasing their art. We'll tell you about that coming up a little bit later.
Wow. Beautiful art behind him.
Yes, and very
Nice
peaceful
pictures.
music.
Yeah.
So that you can meditate this morning to our show. If
Very
you want.
terrestrial show we have going on this morning. And our very own Lee Cruse is getting an art experience this morning. How you doing there, Lee?
Oh, hi, guys. We're talking about the Dozen's Cafe, an event that takes place tonight to showcase local artisans. And as a matter of fact, some of the artwork that you're looking at on the wall, we'll tell you about that because some of that's for sale, and some of those will be highlighted tonight. It happens at different venues. We'll fill you in on all the details coming up here on Kentucky Sunrise. But first, take a look at what's coming up later on the Today Show.
Yeah, the bluegrass area has a lot of talented artists and musicians, and tonight's event showcases that talent.
It's called A Dozen Cafes. It's taking place at different venues all around town. For more information, here's our local art critic, Lee Cruse.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Lee.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Fine.
We're going to tell you about those venues coming up here in a second when we talk to Dan, the director and coordinator. But first, we're at Everybody's Cafe, which is it's relatively new.
We've been here 7 months.
7 months, right? And it's strictly vegetarian.
Everything here is vegetarian except for our tuna fish sandwich.
Okay, you get the tuna, but everything. I couldn't get a bologna sandwich, but
No
tried.
bologna here.
All right. Well, okay, I'm a little disappointed because I love my fried bologna.
Well, we might sneak some in for you.
All right, but I appreciate that. Now, you've got some artwork on display here because we're talking about highlighting local artists for the Dozen's Cafe. But the piece that we're looking at there, one of the pieces is your daughter-in-law's.
Anne-Marie Thomas. And right now she's living in Naples, Florida, but she sent up some of her artwork for this affair.
Now, you must be an art fan because you got it all over the place.
We love art, and that was one of the big things when we opened the restaurant here, was being able to display different local artists' artwork.
And with your daughter-in-law pursuing that hobby, is it a hobby for her?
Oh,
or
no,
a
it's her career.
Okay, well, good for her. So now you know how difficult that is for an artist to try to, make a living at that.
It's very difficult. She's a starving artist right now.
Is she? Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to sell some of her work. We've had about 10 of her pieces in here already, which we already sold through the past few months. And we just got a new showing of hers yesterday.
Okay, so it must be important to you then to help these local artists out for tonight's event.
Oh, it's very important. We're very happy to be able to do it. We have Daniel's work here, and we have Nancy Follis's work on the wall over there. And up front we have Johnny Lackey, all his block prints, which I think Steve got some pictures of.
I'm sure he did. Now, again, tonight, when does the event start, do you know?
I think it starts at 5. Daniel, 5 o'clock?
6 o'clock. Dan says 6 o'clock. Dan, and give us a list of places people can go to see the...
Cosmos, Everybody's, Common Grounds, Zing, Kismet, Hemp Universe, Desert Moon, McCarthy's, Melodian, Geeks, and Rosebud.
That's about a dozen, I think.
It's a little bit more than a dozen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a baker's dozen, maybe.
It's a baker's dozen.
Well, you should call it that, then.
Well, you know.
All right, well, thanks for coming out this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for...
Hetty, thank you.
Oh, thank you
for having us here. We appreciate it, guys. Good luck with the event. A Dozen Cafes. It is to help showcase Kentucky artisans of different crafts and venues. Remember that, guys. Not just painters, but also musicians, too.
Right, Lee, is there a bodyguard in there? I mean, there was a guy behind you all when you were talking who looked sort of like he was guarding the work.
You know, I don't know about those guys.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, we'll leave it at that, won't we?
If I'm not back at the station at a certain hour, call my mom.
I will. I'll call Mommy.
We'll start dragging the river for you.
Thank you, Lee.
Well, right now it's 6:50, and you're watching Kentucky Sunrise.
Stu Lunch will be with us live to chat about a benefit concert he's giving in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see you today at noon and in 25 minutes on the Today Show.
Bye-bye.